guys, and welcome back to my channel and today's video. Today I'm going to do a video that I think that a lot of you guys will appreciate, and this is, as you can see on the title of this video, I'm going to share some tips and tricks that I have learned throughout my experience working with color. You guys ask me a lot about why I do this and why I do that and how come and yada yada yada. So I thought that why not just put all of my tips and tricks in a video for you guys, so that hopefully you can learn if you want to experience or try to work with color. Hopefully some of this will work, probably not everything will work for you, but I thought that I would try to do that. And also I have all used affordable products, I have used affordable brushes, so I hope that that's appreciated as well. But before we get into my video, I highly suggest you guys to subscribe. I upload videos every single day, so you get a lot of videos from me, but let's just hop into my video. You want to start off with a base, and you can do 3 different bases. You can start off with the normal eyeshadow primer, but the new normal has become a concealer. A lot of people use concealer, but you can also go in with a white base. I have the NYX Jumbo Eye Pencil in the shade Milk, and I do like this one. This is the one I use when I go in with a white base. Usually I don't go in with a white base unless it's just on my lid when I want to make a color appear a lot. You can of course go in with a black base as well, but this is just the 3 standard things. A lot of people use this concealer because it's easier. They don't have to buy an eyeshadow primer as well, and a concealer works for them. Usually I always used concealers, but I have experienced when I'm using color that an eyeshadow primer works better for me since I have dry lids, which means that if I use concealer and then set my concealer can bring out patches on my eyes, which you have seen in previous videos. So that's why I use a eyeshadow primer, and the one that I'm using at the moment is the Milani eyeshadow primer. But today I am going to use an eyeshadow primer on this side, and then I'm going to use a concealer on this eye. So this is as much I'm taking. This is not a lot. I think I might have too much. I always take too much eyeshadow primer, but so at the moment I don't have anything on my eyes, so I'm just going in with my eyeshadow primer. And I'm blending this out with a finger. I find this to be the easiest. So the first thing I do is that I just blend this out with my finger. And I'm using the same finger. And now that I have dispatched all of the product on my lid, I go in with a clean finger and I just pick up the excess product. And I make sure that everything is nice and clean, because this primer will dry up a bit. So this is just the easiest. Today I'm going to use my Catrice Liquid Camouflage Concealer. I have mine in the shade 005 Light Natural. So I'm just taking 2 dots. I think that that will be enough. I think that 1 dot could actually be enough. I'm gonna do the same thing here. I'm just going to put concealer all over the area. And I'm using a little bit of concealer because otherwise the concealer will start to crease on me, and I don't want that. So today I am going to use the BH Cosmetics Festival palette. I love this palette and I've done multiple videos with it, which I can leave up here and in my description box in case you want to check them out. I have reviewed this as well, but if you haven't seen it, it looks like this. So the next tip I have for you is that you don't have to use a crease shade. And when I say that, I mean these typical brown shades. This probably might not be a transition shade, but you know, something along this line would be a great transition shade for me. You don't have to use that. Today I am going to go in with this light pink. You can use pinks as your crease color. You can use blues as your transition shades or crease color. The thing is that you have to remember that you want your eyeshadow to blend in together. So usually if you are going to do a pink look that I'm going to do today, it's easier for you to use a pink transition shade because you want the brighter and the more bold pink to blend into the other pink. Also, another thing I want to say is that you don't have to use a crease color. I am going to use this shade Dippy on my lid today, or not on my lid, but on my outer crease or in my outer corner. This is a bright pink, but as I said, you don't have to use it. You can just place it here and then blend it out. You always have to blend your eyeshadows. So a trick for me is to, if I'm not want to use crease colors or transition shades, then I just place my shadow and then I blend the eyeshadow out so it becomes like a crease color or a transition shade. Next tip is brushes, and brushes is super important. It's so important because this is what's going to make your look. Like if I have this flat brush, as you can see, this is almost like a packing brush. If I'm gonna use this on my or blend this out towards my crease, I will have a lot of problem and my eyeshadow won't look as good. So what I like is brushes like this. This is the Sigma E40 brush. It's very tapered and it's not as dense and it's quite big, but you don't have to use expensive brushes. Sigma is very expensive, so what I have here is a Wet n Wild crease brush, and I'm going to use this today. This is not as good, I don't like it as much, but it works. So if you are on a budget, or if you just don't want to spend the money on expensive brushes, you don't have to. So this is the brush that I am going to blend out my crease color with today. So I am starting off with this shade right here. This is the light pink and this is called Electric. I'm tapping my brush off as well. And if you're not used to working with colors, it might be smarter to do your eyes first because of the fallout. If you get fallout from a shadow like this, it might not look as weird if some things stick to your base than if you were to use a bright blue, because you don't want a bright blue on your base. Another thing can be to bake, like to just pack on a lot of translucent powder. So if you do get fallout, you can just wipe everything away later. Also notice that I am holding my hand quite far down on my brush. I'm not holding it right here because then I will do the work. I am holding my hand quite far back, and the good thing about this Wet n Wild brush is that it has this little placement where you can hold your thumb. This can be a great way for you, but I want to place my hand even further back so that the brush does all its work. And I like a big eye. I like a lot of eyeshadow, so I actually drag all of my eyeshadows out towards the ends of my brow. I know that some people have asked me about that, so that is just what I'm doing. I did dip back once again because I wanted this to look a little bit more pigmented, and also I usually blend my eyeshadow very far up towards my brow. I don't have that much lid space if I don't, so I like to just drag my eyeshadow up towards my brow. This is how much I'm gonna blend. This is how much this needs. This palette is so good. They practically blend themselves. The mattes in this is the star of the show. The shimmers aren't as good, but the mattes are crazy good. I hope that you can see, but here where I have used concealer, it has creased. This is because I have... People get offended if you say that I have hooded eyes, because people will say, no, you don't have hooded eyes, but my skin goes over it. Like, do you see what I mean? So I'm just going to blend this up, and the concealer has almost dried now, so I am just going to do the same thing on this eye. And hopefully you can see that the shadow is a bit more pigmented on this eye. And this is because usually you do have to set a concealer. I never set my eyeshadow primer, not even if I'm working with brown shades. So yeah, that is just something to keep in mind, that you can see that the shades will be a bit different. So now I'm going to go in with the next shade, Dippy. This is the next tip that I have for you if you are starting out with color to do monochromatic looks. You have seen me do mixes of pinks and red and blue and yellow and green and purple and green and blue and green and yellow. You know, I mix and match my shades, but that is not because I call myself a professional, but it is because I'm used to working with colors. And if you're not, I would say go for monochromatic looks, which means that you will go in the same family, and that is what I will do today. So I will play with pinks today. I will do an all pink look. Otherwise, I could definitely do probably this pink and then this pink and maybe a green on the lid. I would think was really pretty, or you know, something along those lines. But today I want to do a monochromatic look just to show you how you can do it. And today, or now, I have taken my next affordable brush. This is the BH Cosmetics 6 brush. I really love this brush. This brush is a brush that you get in a brush kit, and I am trying out that brush kit right now, and I have found that I'm reaching for 2 brushes all the time, and this is one of them. This brush is really good. I really like this one, but you have to know this about me, that I love blending brushes like this. I love rounded tapered brushes. That's just something that I like. This is a bit more dense than the other one, and this is a smaller one, so I find it perfect to use for my outer corner right here. But I'm just gonna dip into Dippy, tap the brush off, and what I am going to do is that I always press the shadow in before I start to blend, and I want even more pigmentation. This will give you more color payoff, but also less fallout. So now that we have that placed, I'm going to start and blend this shade. And as you can see, I'm holding my brush the way I did with my Wet n Wild brush, and I'm just using circular motions, small blending circular motions. And usually I try to blend this shadow in towards my crease as well, so that is what I'm going to do. I am not pressing the brush, I'm just holding this very lightly and blending it towards right here. If you are new to colors and you're working with it, I would suggest that you have to be patient. I do want to go in with a bit more color here. Now I'm taking a clean brush. This is a Morphe M502 brush. This is tapered. Don't really love this one because it's very scratchy, and I've had it for a while. When I bought it, I loved it, but with Morphe brushes, they usually do this, that they break after a while. But what I'm gonna do now is that I'm just gonna blend my shade right here. So I'm gonna blend my edges so that they look a little bit more blended, and I like to do this with clean brushes. This is the BH Cosmetics 10 brush from the same set. This is very dense, so I cannot do any blending with this, because if I did, it would just pain my eyes. But what I do like about this is that now I'm gonna take the shade Dippy, and I'm just gonna dip it towards the side, as you can see, tap it off, and then I just place this under my eyes, just like this. I'm so sorry, this is a bit hard to do on camera, but I'm just trying to place this under my eyes. Oh, I forgot to tap my brush off, so I did get some fallout, but it's okay. This packs the shade on, so you will get so much color payoff. And I've said this before, if you are a bit older and you have wrinkles under your eyes, just as I do, then this method is really good, that you just press in your eyeshadow, and then you take a smaller brush. This is a blending brush. This is the Morphe S20 brush. I do love some of the eyeshadow brushes that you get in the Morphe vegan set that I have purchased a while back. I love that vegan set. I think it's gorgeous. I think that they work to perfection, and with these I have not noticed any differences towards when I bought them and when I have used them for now probably 2 years. So that's really good, and that is a brush kit and a brush set that I definitely recommend. But with this brush, now I am going to just smoke this out a bit, and I like my shadows to be quite pigmented underneath, so I don't actually blend that much. This is all I'm gonna do. So now I want to use glitter, or I'm going to use a shimmer shade, and I'm going to use this shade that is called Solstice. This is a beautiful shade, but this is a little bit glittery, and this can have some fallout with it, so that's why I'm going to use a glitter glue. I don't want to use a lot, because if I use a lot and don't blend it out, the same thing happens with if you're going to use too much concealer under your eyes and you don't blend it out. That is going to crease. So my tip is just to use a brush, pack this on. This is just, if you like your shimmers to be very metallic and blinding, then this is a way to do. You can also obviously use setting sprays or just water on your brush, but this is something that I prefer. So now I am taking my same clean brush, or finger I mean, and just tapping away all of the excess and kind of blending it out. Now I'm going to use a BH Cosmetics brush. This is the number 8 brush in the same kit that I talked about before. This is just a flat concealer brush, and they work amazing with shimmer shades in my opinion. So I am just going to very carefully pick some up. This is basically all that I'm going to do. I'm going to place the shadow. Oops, I took it a bit too far. Also, you can use glitter shade, you can use shimmer shades in your crease. That is just a myth that you cannot use it in your crease. I do it, and I don't have a problem with it. I'm just going to take the shade Dippy once again on the same brush that we used before, and I'm just gonna pack a little bit more on, because as you can see, we have now the glitter. It stops right here and it meets the matte. So what I like to do is just to go over this a bit and kind of meet them. This will give it a much softer transition. I will go ahead and finish off the rest of my makeup, and then I will come back and let you guys know my last tips that I couldn't really cover in this look, but some tips that I have that I really want to share with you. So I just went ahead and swatched on my hand, or I laid down a base of eyeshadow primer, concealer, and then a white base, because I want to show you how pastels can work, because some experience that pastels just doesn't really work for them, and I want to say use a white base. Always use a white base if you're working with pastels, because otherwise it will be hard for them to appear. This is not a drugstore brand or anything. This is Sigma. This is the Creme de Couture palette. Let me swatch this blue shade. I'm just gonna finger swatch it, and I am going to finger swatch it right here where I have, where's my base? Here it is. So this is my eyeshadow primer base. And then we have my concealer base. In my opinion, I prefer the eyeshadow primer base because I find it to be a little bit more vibrant and baby blue. But let's just swatch on the white base as well, which we have right here. And as you can see, this makes the most color payoff. This makes the shade looks more beautiful in my opinion. So that's just something that I do want to say. So if you do experience that your color isn't just not giving you the color payoff that you want, white bases is recommended. I really like, and I know that a lot of people like the NYX Jumbo Pencil in Milk. I have it, sorry. I have it right here. I have also heard, like, if you want it in a jar, NYX also has one. But that's the one that I knew that are affordable and cruelty-free. Another tip that I have for you guys is to try in the beginning to work with cool tone and warm tones. You saw me try to mix warm tones and cool tones in a previous video, and that was not really that good. I did not pull it off, but I definitely have in the past. Like, I love to mix, for instance, green and purple. No, green and orange. I think that that is really, really beautiful. But This is just a small tip. Try and do that in the beginning, but if you do want to expand, definitely do so. My final tip is for you guys. I have said this so much, but it's such a basic thing. If you are not really comfortable with color, do something dark or do something brown or neutral on your eyes, and then under your eyes you can do a pop of blue. That's very popular right now. You can even use a pop of yellow, and you can use a pop of pink or whatever, do you know, just so you can incorporate some color in your life if you want to. But that was all of the tips that I have for you guys. I hope that you really liked this video and that you found it to be helpful. I will see you guys tomorrow. Please don't forget to subscribe if you want to see more colorful looks from me and more videos, obviously. Like this video if you like this video, and I will see you guys tomorrow. Bye!